Located right by Marina Bay in the heart of modern Singapore, Gardens by the Bay feels like a vision of the future, where nature, architecture, and technology blend together in a truly striking way. With a total cost of over $1 billion for construction and imported plant species, the project has quickly become a global symbol of sustainable design and advanced urban planning. Each year, it attracts millions of visitors and continues to receive numerous prestigious international awards. Gardens by the Bay is not just a park, it is a powerful statement by Singapore about the future of green spaces within modern cities. In this video, join Mandarin Tech as we explore how a small nation transformed reclaimed land into one of the most impressive gardens in the world. Located in the heart of Singapore's bustling financial district, Gardens by the Bay is a strategic project that redefines how the city approaches urban green space. For decades, Singapore has been a land-scarce island nation with limited natural resources and almost no room for large-scale gardens in its city center. Yet within just a few years, it transformed more than 100 hectares of fully reclaimed land into a futuristic ecosystem. This is home to a diverse collection of over 1 million plant species from across the globe. It serves as both a national garden and a leading horticultural destination for local and international visitors. Gardens by the Bay can be seen as a masterpiece of landscape architecture and garden design, presenting the world of plants in an entirely new way. It not only entertains but also educates visitors, showcasing rare species not commonly found in the region, from cool temperate climates to rich tropical forests and habitats. One of the biggest challenges of Gardens by the Bay was growing and maintaining plant species that are not naturally suited to Singapore's tropical climate. Around 60% of the plants here come from temperate or arid regions, such as Europe and Australia, places with significantly cooler temperatures. To prevent the worst-case scenarios, engineers developed a range of technical solutions to create a stable environment inside the greenhouses. A complex system of 28 steel ribs, known as arches, reinforces the exterior structure of the conservatories. These curved arches help protect the glass domes by absorbing and redirecting strong wind forces. Another layer of steel ribs increases the strength of the glass roof itself. A network of hundreds of steel frames, known as the grid shell, connects the glass panels together. In theory, this outer shell allows the glass structure to withstand wind pressure while also preventing water leakage during heavy rain. The steel components used for the greenhouses were measured, cut, and welded at factories according to precise engineering specifications. Engineers divided each roof frame into 8 smaller sections to make transportation and assembly easier. Once completed, the massive steel sections were carefully transported under police escort before being lifted into place at the construction site using giant cranes. The supporting scaffolding system was connected with steel columns and beams, creating a large elevated workspace above while still leaving enough open space below for other construction activities to continue without obstruction. After the steel framework was completed, giant tempered glass panels began to be installed using specialized vacuum lifting systems to minimize vibration and prevent cracking during high-altitude construction. Engineers had to align each glass panel with extremely high precision before securing them to the steel grid, gradually completing the massive glass shell surrounding the entire greenhouse. While engineers were still racing against time to complete the massive glass domes of the conservatories, another iconic structure of Gardens by the Bay was also beginning to rise across the huge construction site beside Marina Bay, the Supertree Grove. Standing up to 50 meters tall, these Supertrees were designed as a fusion of nature, architecture, and modern technology, becoming one of the defining symbols of the entire project. To build them, engineers first constructed the foundations and assembled precast concrete sections that form the outer trunk structure. These multi-ton components were transported to the construction site and lifted into place using large cranes before being assembled with extremely high precision. However, the most critical part of the Supertree was hidden inside the structural core. As the outer shell gradually took shape, Engineers began lowering massive steel columns into the center using giant cranes. These steel columns acted as the main load-bearing backbone of each supertree, allowing the structure to support the enormous weight of the steel canopy above, while also resisting strong wind loads from the Marina Bay area. Even a small alignment error during installation could affect the entire upper structure. Surrounding the central core was a steel lattice framework designed to resemble giant tree branches spreading into the sky. Once completed, these steel structures were covered with plants and integrated with technologies such as solar energy collection, rainwater harvesting, and ventilation support systems for the entire garden, transforming the Supertrees into true artificial trees in the heart of Singapore. Several years before the gigantic glass domes in the Supertrees began to shape Singapore's skyline, this area was still a massive coastal construction site where engineers had to start with the most fundamental stages to create the land and foundation for the entire project. Gardens by the Bay was not built on natural land, but on a completely artificial reclaimed area. Land reclamation is not as simple as dumping sand into the ocean. It requires precise calculations involving geology, ocean currents, and long-term structural stability. Unlike traditional land reclamation methods that rely heavily on imported sand, this reclamation process used a more efficient and environmentally sustainable technique known as the caisson method. A caisson is a massive hollow concrete structure that acts as a building block for land reclamation projects. Instead of pouring enormous amounts of sand into the sea to create new land, prefabricated caissons are transported and placed directly onto the seabed to form the foundation of artificial islands. Each caisson used in the project was more than 50 meters long and constructed from high-strength reinforced concrete. These giant structures were first built on land and then floated out to sea. Once they reached the correct position, they were carefully lowered onto a stable seabed foundation where they served as retaining walls for the newly created islands. After being installed, the caissons were filled with construction materials such as rocks, gravel, and sand to ensure they remained securely anchored to the seabed over time. After completing the reclaimed land platform, the next major challenge was dealing with the soft marine clay beneath it, which was not strong enough to support the massive structures of Gardens by the Bay. To solve this problem, engineers used a system of cast-in-place concrete piles to increase the stability of the entire foundation. The process began by drilling through the weak soil layer down to a harder geological layer below. In some areas, the soft sediment layer reached depths of up to 60 meters. Prefabricated steel casings were then lowered into the holes, with reinforced steel cages placed inside before high-strength concrete was pumped in to form massive foundation piles. Once the concrete hardened, the entire load of the structures could be transferred down to the more stable ground beneath. However, construction near Marina Bay also created the risk of polluting the water supply, which provides around 10% of Singapore's drinking water. To protect the area, engineers built a coastal retaining wall stretching approximately 200 meters, combined with a special polyfelt silt barrier designed to prevent soil and construction materials from spreading into the bay. Returning to the stage when major structures such as the greenhouses in Supertree Grove had finally been completed, the project was now beginning its transformation from a reclaimed land construction site into a fully functioning urban ecosystem. Spanning more than 100 hectares, the garden was divided into multiple theme zones that recreated ecosystems from around the world. Visitors could encounter Asian-inspired gardens filled with tranquility and refinement, Mediterranean landscapes featuring drought-resistant plants, and lush tropical environments that reflected the rainforests of Southeast Asia. Every pathway, cluster of trees, and landscape detail was intentionally arranged to create a continuous and seamless visitor experience. One of the most unique aspects of the project lay in how the designers carefully guided the emotions of visitors throughout the garden. Walking through Gardens by the Bay felt less like a simple stroll and more like a journey across multiple climate zones within just a few hours. From shaded walkways that provided relief from Singapore's tropical heat to wide open spaces overlooking Marina Bay, every element was carefully planned to create a balance between relaxation and awe. At the same time, the pedestrian infrastructure was designed with remarkable efficiency. Curving pathways, elevated walkways such as the OCBC Skyway, and strategically positioned open spaces helped distribute visitor traffic and maintain a comfortable experience even as millions of people visited the gardens every year. During the day, Gardens by the Bay appeared as a vibrant ecological park filled with sunlight and lush greenery. But when night fell, the entire landscape transformed into a spectacular light show, where the Supertrees illuminated the skyline and created a stunning fusion of nature and technology. As urban populations continue to grow, green spaces become increasingly limited, and climate change turns into a real and immediate threat. Cities around the world are being forced to find a new model of development. And because of that, Gardens by the Bay is becoming a source of inspiration for many projects across the globe, from the Middle East and Europe to the megacities of Asia. In China, megacities such as Shanghai are beginning to shift toward a development model similar to Gardens by the Bay through the construction of mega-ecological parks integrated with modern technology. Shanghai Greenhouse Garden is no longer just a simple landscape park. Instead, it is planned as part of the city's urban infrastructure, combining multiple functions at the same time, including entertainment, biodiversity conservation, and environmental regulation. Advanced technologies are widely applied throughout the project, from real-time air quality monitoring systems and green surfaces that help reduce the urban heat island effect, to retention ponds and smart drainage systems designed to reduce flooding. As a result, these gardens function like living lungs for the city, helping lower surrounding temperatures while significantly improving air quality in dense urban environments. Meanwhile, in Vietnam, the trend of green urban development is also becoming increasingly visible, especially in large-scale urban projects such as Vinhomes Grand Park in Ho Chi Minh City. The project dedicates a significant portion of its area to a central park, landscape lakes, and open ecological spaces, reflecting a major shift in urban planning philosophy. Notably, the light park here was inspired by the Supertrees at Gardens by the Bay in Singapore, with artistic lighting structures becoming iconic nighttime landmarks. Elements such as dense greenery, outdoor parks, sports areas, and lakes not only provide aesthetic value, but also help regulate the local microclimate, reduce temperatures, and improve living conditions for residents. Although these projects have not yet integrated complex technologies as deeply as Singapore has, developments like Grand Park still reflect an important transformation in urban thinking, where nature is no longer treated as an additional feature, but is gradually becoming a core foundation of modern urban design. Since opening to the public, Gardens by the Bay has not only become a famous tourist attraction, but has also quickly risen to become a global symbol of Singapore. Every year, the gardens attract millions of international visitors, acting as a major tourism magnet that strengthens Singapore's position on the world stage. Gardens by the Bay has created a powerful ripple effect across the economy, driving the growth of industries such as hospitality, restaurants, retail, and transportation, while also generating thousands of direct and indirect jobs. Its connection with the Marina Bay district has further increased surrounding property values and attracted international investment, transforming the entire area into a vibrant economic, tourism, and entertainment hub. Beyond its economic and environmental benefits, Gardens by the Bay has also created a far-reaching global influence. Many cities around the world have begun studying this model as they attempt to integrate green spaces into urban development. More importantly, the project has helped change a fundamental mindset. Nature no longer needs to be separated from the city, but can instead be designed to exist and thrive alongside it, opening a new direction for the future of urban development worldwide. From a completely artificial reclaimed land area, Gardens by the Bay has transformed into one of the most iconic gardens in the world. Its true value lies not only in its beauty or massive scale, but in what it represents on a much larger level, proof that humanity can reshape the environment it lives in. Gardens by the Bay is not simply a garden. It is a statement about how future cities may be designed, built, and integrated with nature. What do you think about green city models like this? Could this become the inevitable future of urban development around the world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mandarin Tech for more videos about technology and the world's most incredible megaprojects.